ओम वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ
सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ
निर्विघ्नं
निर्विघ्नं
कुरु मे
कुरु मे
देव
देव
सर्वकार्येषु
सर्वकार्येषु
सर्वदा।
सर्वदा।
ओम
ॐ
श्री
श्री
महागणपतये
महागणपतये
नमः।
नमः।
ओम श्री
ॐ श्री
गुरुभ्यो
गुरुभ्यो
नमः।
नमः।
हरि
हरिः ओम्।
ओम सदाशिवसमारम्भां
सदाशिवसमारम्भां
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां
वन्दे
वन्दे
गुरुपरम्पराम्।
गुरुपरम्पराम्।
अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो
अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो
नमः।
नमः।
श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम्
पुराणानाम्
आलयं
आलयं
करुणालयं
करुणालयं
नमामि
नमामि
भगवत्पादं
भगवत्पादं
शङ्करं
शङ्करं
लोकशङ्करं
लोकशङ्करं
शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं
केशवं
बादरायणं
बादरायणं
सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे
वन्दे
भगवन्तौ
भगवन्तौ
पुनः
पुनः
पुनः।
पुनः।
ईश्वरो
ईश्वरो
आत्मेति
गुरुरात्मेति
मूर्तिभेदविभागिने
योगिवेदविभागिने
व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय
व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय
दक्षिणामूर्तये
श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये
नमः।
नमः।
ओम श्री
ॐ
वेदादक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने
श्रीवेदादक्षिणामूर्तिस्वामिने
नमः।
नमः।
ओम
ॐ सहना
सहनाववतु
भवतु
सह
सहनौ
नौ भुनक्तु
भुनक्तु
सह
सह
वीर्यं
वीर्यं
करवावहै
करवावहै
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा
विद्विषावहै।
विद्विषावहै।
ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।
Namaste, Guruji.
So namaste once again everyone and wish you all a very happy Vishu and a very happy Tamil New Year.
Same to you, sir.
May this,
Namaste Guruji, Pranam.
Hari Om Guruji, happy Vishu to all.
yeah, same to you. May I pray that let this new year take you further in the spiritual path, and also rather may all your wishes for the year come true. Yeah.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Namo Namaha Mahodaya.
Namo Namaha. So 7th mantra we will chant. Okay. Yata urna nabhihi.
Yatha Urnanabihi.
Yata urna nabhihi.
Yata Urnanabihi
Srijate.
Srijate
Rinnate cha.
Granate cha
Yata prithvyam.
Yata Prithvyam
Oshadayah.
Oshadaya.
Sambhavanti.
Sambhavanti
Yata satah.
Yata Sataha
Purushat.
Purushat
Keshalomani.
Keshalomani
Tata aksharat.
Tata Aksharat
Sambhavati iha vishwam.
Sambhavati Vishwam.
Good. So in mantra 6, which describe the features of Akshara Brahman, the last description was Akshara Brahman was Bhuta Yoni, literally meaning the womb of all living and non-living beings. And based on that, this mantra says, Aksharat Vishwam Sambhavati. This Aksharam Brahma is the Jagat Karanam, the creator of the universe, both the efficient cause or intelligent cause and also the material cause of this universe. So when such a statement is made in the Upanishad, naturally a question will arise, on what basis is the Upanishad making such a sweeping statement? Of course, all religions accept that God created this world. The Holy Bible states that God the Father created this world. And the foundation of this belief lies in the book of Genesis, particularly the creation narrative in Genesis 1.1 and 2.3, 1.1 to 2.3, in fact, which describes God's creation of the heavens and earth. So, the Genesis narrative portrays God as the sole and ultimate creator, with no rivals or helpers in creation process. The idea of creation out of nothing is the key theological concept in Christianity, suggesting that God brought the universe into existence from nothing. And this is more or less like the Shunyavada of a section of Buddhism. They also say God, formed this universe from out of nothing. And even Islam, if you take, Islam too emphasizes the concept, there's a concept called Tawheed, means oneness and uniqueness of God, Allah. And He is considered the creator, the sustainer, and the restorer of the world. The Holy Quran states that Allah created the heavens and the earth, and even between them, that is sun, moon, planets, and all living creatures, including humans, in 6 days. This is the description in Holy Quran. But one thing is certain, every religion accepts that God is the creator of this universe. There is no difference of opinion in that. But the problem with these religions are, they do not go into the details of how God created the world. They do not discuss the important aspects. That for any creation, there are 2 types of causes are needed. Namely, the efficient cause and the material cause. Even for creating something, like a table or a chair or anything, we require both. And since they are belief-based systems, their followers also cannot raise such questions. But Sanatana Dharma is not a belief-based system. It is a teaching-based system. Hinduism, which is a name, according to me, so Hinduism is basically a geographical identity of this subcontinent, people living in subcontinent. Original name is Sanatana Dharma only. That does not insist on believing, but focuses on understanding and gaining knowledge based on intelligent dialogue between the teacher and the students. And therefore, questions like how can one and the same entity, Akshara Brahman in this case, be both the efficient or intelligent cause and material cause of this universe? Because in our experience with the world, we find that the material cause is always different from the efficient or intelligent cause. Therefore, in this mantra number 7, the Upanishad is answering the above question and is highlighting the fact that even though generally the efficient cause and the material causes are different in any creation, there are exceptions to this general rule. And the creation of this universe falls under the exception category. So now, apart from the above question, as regards the oneness of the efficient cause and material cause, as we saw in the last class, 2 more relevant questions arise when it is said that Aksharam Brahma or God is Jagat Karana. What are those 2 additional questions? The first question will be, how come out of one Akshara Brahman, one material cause, so many varieties of products or effects are created? This is not possible. Out of one material cause, one type of product can be created. In our experience, For creation of different products, the material costs are different. Material cost of furniture is different. Material cost of gold is different. So how can one and the same Akshara Brahman be the material cost of all the varieties that we varieties of things that we see in the universe? This is the second question. Third question is, all along it is said that Akshara Brahman is consciousness, Chetana Tattva, a sentient entity, and the universe is insentient, Jadam, Achetanam. Then how can an insentient entity be a product of a sentient entity? How can a sentient entity be the cause for an insentient entity? A sentient entity can be the cause of another sentient entity only, as we saw some examples in the last class also. So the Upanishad here answers the above three questions with three examples. And we must bear in mind, no example will be perfect, but the examples help us to understand the possibility of one and the same entity being both the efficient cause and the material cause. And the Upanishad, as I said, gives three examples to create a sense of possibility. These examples also help us to drop our resistance to what is being said. The examples will help us to assimilate what is being said, to get convinced of what is being said. So in the last class, we saw the first example of a spider weaving its web, which highlights the possibility of oneness and or the sameness of the efficient cause and material cause. The spider, being the intelligent cause, creates a beautiful web to trap the insects which serve as the spider's food. But it also generates the material for the web, which is called urna, from its nabhi, the navel. So the spider itself is both the efficient cause and the material cause for the web that it creates. And as the intelligent cause, the spider is careful to choose the location of the web also. Everything, every aspect of weaving the web, it does it very intelligently. It does not do it in a place where we can easily catch it. You don't see webs on the floor, isn't it? Mostly these are in the corners of ceilings so that you won't be able to reach them. At least won't be able to reach them without some, any instrument. And also, it creates a web where it is likely to get insects. For example, near a light source, it knows that the insects will come during rainy season and all that, and different seasons attracted by the light. So they will easily get caught in the web. All very intelligent planning, So it is intelligent cause also. And also from the standpoint of his body, it is material cause as well. And therefore, this example is given to show that Brahman is abhinna nimitta upadana karanam. Brahman does not require material from outside. Of course, this example has to be understood appropriately. Otherwise, people will say, okay, if a spider example is fine, but it is producing only one type of product, only the web or the urna. It doesn't produce anything else. So that argument can be there. Some other people will point out that you have said that the effect cannot be separate from the cause. Here the material is web, the cause is the spider. In case of clay and all, if parts are destroyed, the material reverts to its cause, the clay, isn't it? But in the case of a spider, if we destroy the web, it will not revert to the spider. Because there are a lot of intelligent people who are waiting to challenge whatever Shastra says. And that is why, we always insist on the disclaimers. We have to be very careful in understanding the examples. Because as I said earlier also, the problem is Brahman has no example. For Brahman, no example can be a perfect example because there is only one Brahman. Therefore, any example you give can only be a nearest example and not an exact example. So here we have to understand the example only for the purpose of appreciating the possibility of one and the same entity being the Nimitta Karanam and Upadana Karanam. We must not extend the scope of the example beyond that. So what this example highlights is that one need not necessarily get Upadana Karanam, the material cause, from outside. Without depending upon external material cause, one can create Nimitta Karanam. Nimitta Karanam can create the product. That is the main purpose of this example. Now, what is the second example? The next example is to address the objection as to how come out of Akshara Brahman, one material cause, so many varieties of products or effects like humans, animals, insects, trees, rocks, etc. are created. For that, the answer the mantra gives is Yatha Prithivyam Oshadayah Sambhavanti. Yatha means just as. Prithivyam, on the earth. Oshadayah, plants. Sambhavanti, are born. All plants are born or grow on earth, isn't it? Here, the earth is presented as the material cause. So, out of one earth, varieties of trees and plants are born. Similarly, out of one Ishvara, varieties of things are created. And even though the trees and plants appear to be different from the earth, they are only superficially different. Essentially, all the plants and trees are nothing but the earth itself appearing in that form. So similarly, the world seems to be different from God, but the truth is the world is only superficially different from God. But really speaking, the world is non-different from God. And here also one more idea is suggested, that the plants, even though when they are born of this earth, still essentially they remain the earth element only. So without being away from the cause, the effects are born. Without being separate from the cause, the effects are born. Like, the plants look different from the earth because we can clearly identify this is plant, this is earth. Generally, our understanding is ground alone is the earth. But essentially, plants are the earth only, the earth element only. So remaining non-separate from their cause, plants are born. Similarly, the entire world is born remaining non-separate from Brahman. Even though the world looks different, but if we analyze what is the nature of this world, then we will find that this world is nothing but Brahman. What is making the difference is only an appearance. The Nama Rupa are making the difference. And if we go ahead and analyze this Nama Rupa, we find that Nama Rupa do not have any existence apart from Brahman. Form belongs to the substance, and to the form alone the name is given. And that form does not have existence apart from substance. So the form is dependent upon substance for its existence. So even though they look different, there is no existence of form apart from the existence of the substance. a lump of clay may look different or will look different from the different kinds of pottery and earthenware that is made out of it. But essentially, the existence of all those potteries or earthenware, they all are because of the existence of the lump of clay. And therefore, remaining non-separate from its cause, the world is born. So, Swatma Avyatireka is suggested by the second example. Swatma Avyatireka means non-separation from Adhishtanam, the effects being non-separate from their cause. And this idea is conveyed by Yatha Prithivyam Oshadaya Sambhavanti. And also, it is an example to show how one cause can become many effects. One Prithvi Tattva, how it can become many plants. Different, not only plants, different types of living and non-living beings. Earth element is one. Plants are many, living beings are many, non-living beings are many. So from one cause, different varieties of beings or different effects are possible. As I said, it's only a possibility. It's only highlighting the possibility. So that you don't dismiss it ab initio, it is not possible. That is not. Or with an open mind, if you understand this example, you may not accept that Brahman is the cause for this entire world. You may not accept, even though Shastra says. But you cannot dismiss the possibility by looking at these examples. And the third example answers the objection of Salakshaniya Niyama. What is Salakshaniya Niyama? That Chetana cause, the sentient cause, cannot produce achetana or inert products. The mantra says, Yata Satah Purushat Keshalomani. Yatha, just as. Satah Purushat. Satah Purushat means a living being, a living person. So just as from a living person, a living being, Keshalomani. Kesha means the hair on the head. I should look at my back. Not here, I should not, there is no hair. Loma means hair on the body, other parts of the body. So Keshalomani means hair on the head of and the body. Everything that is the whole body is called Keshalomani. And they are born of Satah Purusha, a living being. When the person is dead, afterwards the hairs do not grow. Only from living being, this hair on the body and the head are born. And they grow also. This is what is suggested. Therefore, from Chetana, this Achetana can come. In fact, this particular idea is discussed in Brahma Sutra also in the context of Sankhya and Nayayika's philosophy. There, these philosophers, rejecting the Vedantins' view, they question, how can this inert world can come from Chaitanya Swarupa Atma Brahman? They argue that it is accepted that Brahman is Chetana consciousness. Then they question, how can this inert world come from the Chetana Paramatma? Therefore, they say we should conclude that this inert world has come from some other inert cause. Chetana Brahman cannot be the cause for the inert world. What according to them is the cause? The Sankhya philosophers say it is called, they call it Prakriti. Prakriti is inert. They say from inert Prakriti, this inert world has come. Of course, on the face of it, their argument looks logical. Or the Nayayika philosophers say that from inert paramanus, that is atoms, this inert world has come. That also looks appropriate. So, how can this inert world come from sentient Paramatma, Chetana Paramatma? So, this argument is dealt in elaborately in Brahma Sutra. So, the conclusion is that the rule of Salakshaniya Niyama or Salakshanya Niyama, similarity, is not a universal rule. There are exceptions, and one example of the exception is the growth of the Achetana Keshalomani out of Chetana Shariram. This Vilakshana Srishti is the example for Vilakshana Jagat Utpattihi. In fact, we can also add another example, that is the nails in our fingers and toes. They also grow out of Chetana Shariram only, but they are Achetana in nature. So Kesha, Loma are inert born from sentient being. The nails are also inert born from sentient being. Thank God they are inert. If they are not inert, then imagine what will happen. We cannot go to a hair cutting salon or a beauty parlor, because before taking that, that scissors and all, they will have to give anesthesia to us. It will be like a surgery for cutting the body, parts of the body. Because they are inert, we happily cut them. In fact, in this, what do they call, the barber shops and all, many people, they fall asleep when the cutting is going on. They are very nice sleep. Usually they go early in the morning, so that after the haircut, they can come home and, take a bath. So they'll go early in the morning and sleep is not complete. So they will fall asleep. And the barber will happily go on what he wants to do with the hair. Try all his, stunts. Only when you wake up and see yourself in a mirror, you will look like a stripped, what they call, stripped hen or something like that.
Plucked chicken.
Yeah. Like that, In Tamil they call Uricha Koli.
Plucked chicken.
Yeah, you look like that. So when they are cutting the hair, or even when you go to a manicure or pedicure guy, when he or she is cutting the nails, nothing happens to the person. But of course, along with cutting the hair or nails, if by mistake the skin is also cut, then there is a problem, it pains. Because skin is sentient. The hair comes out of the skin only, insentient. So inert Kesha and Loma are born of living being. So this is the third example, which establishes that out of a living being, non-living being things can be born. So out of Brahman being the material cause, the entire universe can be born. That is the conclusion, or that possibility is highlighted. And then tata aksharat sambhavati iha vishwam. Tata, similarly, aksharat, from imperishable consciousness, sambhavati iha vishwam, this inert world can be born. So similarly, from Chetana Brahma, Achetanam Jagat can come. So it removes the sense of impossibility, and this is shown by these examples. So the three examples are given to convey different viewpoints. If one example doesn't drive home the point, then next example, then next example. Three examples are given to help us see how the Brahman is the Karanam for the Jagat. So Bhuta Yoni, status of Aksharam, the imperishable Brahma, is explained in this mantra with the help of 3 examples. Of course, the main pramanam is Shruti. And these 3 examples are given by Shruti only. But by these examples, the things are not established. It is not QED, therefore proved. No, you can't do that. Examples are given to facilitate the understanding. As I said, they highlight the possibility to negate the impossibility. Only that much we must give value to the examples. Okay, so that is the mantra. Now we will see the bhashyam. As usual, we will read the whole bhashyam and then discuss each sentence. Okay. Yatha loke
Yatha loke
prasiddham
prasiddham
urnanabhihi
urnanabhihi
lutakitaha
nutakitaha
kinchit karanantaram
kinchit karanantaram
anapekshya
anapekshya
swayameva srijate
swayameva srajate
swayameva srijate
swayameva srajate
swasharira
swasharira
avyatiriktanan
avyatirektanam
it's not there. Avyatiriktan
avyatirektan
eva
eva
tantun bahihi
tantun bahihi
prasarayate
prasarayate
punah taneva
पुनः तानेव
te cha
गृह्णते च
गृह्णाति
गृह्णाति
स्वात्मभावम् एव
स्वात्मभावम् एव
आपादयति
आपादयति
यथा च
यथा च
पृथिव्याम् ओषधयः
पृथिव्याम् ओषधयः
व्रीह्यादि
व्रीह्यादि
स्थावरान्ता इत्यर्थः
स्थावरान्ता इत्यर्थः
स्वात्म अव्यतिरिक्ता
स्वात्म अव्यतिरिक्ता
एव प्रभवन्ति
एव प्रभवन्ति
यथा च
यथा च
ततः
ततः
विद्यमानाज्जीवतः
विद्यमानाजीवतः
पुरुषात् केशलोमानि
केशलोमानि
केशाश्च लोमानि च
केशाश्चलोमानि च
सम्भवन्ति
सम्भवन्ति
विलक्षणानि
विलक्षणानि
यथा एते
यथा एते
दृष्टान्ताः
दृष्टान्ताः
तथा विलक्षणं सलक्षणं च
तथा विलक्षणं सलक्षणं च
निमित्त अंतर निमित्त अंतर निमित्त अंतरान sorry split अपेक्षाध्यत् अपेक्षादि
अपेक्षाद्योक्ता
अपेक्षादि उक्त लक्षणात् अक्षरात् संभवन्ति
Aksharat sambhavati
samutpadyate
samutpadyate
iha samsara mandale
iha samsara mandale
vishwam samastam jagat
vishwam samastam jagat
anena aneka drishtantopadhanam
aneka drishtantopadanam
tu
tu
sukhartha prabodhanartham
prabodhanartham
yatha loke.
yatha loke
Sorry, I think that is that ends. Prabodhanartham it ends rather. So now the first sentence we will take. I will read. Yatha loke prasiddham urnanabihi luta kitah kinchit karanantaram anapekshya swayameva srijate swasharira अव्यतिरिक्तान एव तंतून बहिः प्रसारयति पुनः तानेव गृह्णते च गृह्णाति स्वात्मभावम एव आपादयति. That's the first sentence, long sentence. So the first part of the mantra is explained. What is that? Yatha. Yatha means just as. So Bhashyakara explains Yatha as Loke Prasiddham. Prasiddham means it is well known. And Loke means in the world. So Loke Prasiddham means as it is well known in the world. What is well known in the world? Urnanabihi, a spider. Another word for spider is Luta Kita. Luta, the spider, which makes the web. The web is called Luta. Kita means insect. So Luta Kita means the insect in the form of a which makes the spider, which makes the web, which is in the form of a spider. That is Luta Kita, or you can say Urnanabihi. Both are same. Srijate, creates. Swayameva, itself, on its own. Kinchit karanantaram anapekshya. Anapekshya means without depending. It's a very, very important word. Because when a bird wants to build its nest, it flies all over to bring the material. Of course, bird is a very intelligent cause. It will build a beautiful nest, you know. We have seen so many nests. But it goes around, hunts for the material and comes. Similarly, when ants want to build its hill, it goes in search of material. Thus, everyone goes in search of raw material except the spider. It doesn't depend upon any external raw material. Therefore, anapekshya means without depending on. Kinchit, any. Karanantaram means any other material cause. So without depending upon any other material cause or raw material or upadharana karanam, the urnanabihi, the spider, creates the web itself. So here he says karanantaram. That karana antaram means other cause refers to material cause. And therefore spider is the efficient cause as well as the material cause in the creation of the web. So Bhashyakara then explains what he means by the word Swayameva Srijate. He says, Swasharira Avyatiriktan Eva Tantun Bahihi Prasarayati. Here he is actually explaining the word Srijate. Here also Bhashyakara is very, very careful. Because one thing that we know, which Bhashyakara also knows, and he is having it is in mind, which is there is nothing called creation, isn't it? We have seen it again and again and again. Creation is not really creating something altogether a new thing, which was not there at all. What we call creation is the unmanifest becoming manifest. So, keeping this in mind, Bhashyakara is very careful to explain the meaning of the word Srijate. First of all, he said it does not depending upon any material outside. It has got material within its own body. So it does not have to go for in search of any material. And this web, which we say created by the spider, was also there within the spider in unmanifest form. It was very much there in unmanifest form in its own body. All that the spider is doing is what was unmanifest, it is making it manifest. That is what is called creation. So creation is nothing but making unmanifest manifest. And so that is why he is saying Bahihi prasarayati. Bahihi means outside. Prasarayati means spreads. Who spreads? Who is the karta? Urnanabihi, the spider. It spreads outside. What does it spread? Tantun. Tantun means, basically tantun means thread. Here we can say the web, no? It spreads. What type of tantun? Says swasharira abhyatiriktan eva. Abhyatiriktan means non-different. Swasharira means own body. Swa means own, sharira means body. So the spider spreads the threads which were non-separate from its own body. So the threads of the web were unmanifest in the spider's own body, and the spider manifests them by spreading them out. This is the idea he beautifully conveys. Otherwise, we say creation and all that. Most people, who don't understand all these things, have got some funny idea. And that is why, other philosophers and all, they say creation out of nothing is created and all. Even we also say, Vedantins say, that creation, the material cause is Maya, which is a part of Brahman. We don't say Maya and Brahman are two separate causes. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita, students will remember, Mama Maya Duratyaya, Krishna says. So Maya is as much part of Brahman, and when we say that creation goes from manifest to unmanifest, what is that? It exists in seed form, which we call Maya. That is what other people, somebody calls it Prakriti, somebody calls it Paramanu. But they are not able to explain how an inert cause without any efficient cause can create the world. For example, if there is a log of wood lying somewhere, will it on its own become furniture? It will not. That is where that's what I said, Brahma Sutra, all these things are discussed. And it is established that for creation, any creation, an intelligent cause, an efficient cause is necessary. We accept that you can call Prakriti or whatever it is, Maya we call, Avyaktam we call, so many names are there. We accept that. But we say Maya on its own cannot create this world. There has to be something to trigger that creation, and that trigger we say is Brahman. So Brahman exists in Maya like the threads exist in the spider. all that Brahman does is from its own, that Maya, he spreads out, he makes the Maya manifest. That is what is the whole creation is about. Therefore, Urnanabihi Swasharira Avyatiriktan Eva Tantun Bahihi Prasarayati. So that which was unmanifest in its own body, it is making it manifest. That is what is called Srijate. That is what is called, we call it within inverted commas, creation. So just like what the spider has done, similarly, the whole creation was in Brahman. Bhagavan does not produce the world. This creation was in Brahman in what form? Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Tattedam tarhi avyakritamasit tannama rupabhyam eva vyakriyata. Again, very important mantra in that Upanishad. He says the whole world was in Brahman. How? In non-different form. Avyakritam. Non-different form. In potential form. We have seen in Dakshinamurti Stotram, Maya Kalpita Desha Kala Kalana Aichitri Chitri Kritam. So many sources are there to understand how the creation came about. So Tantun Bahihi Prasarayati. This is called Srijate. This is called Srishti. Then the mantra goes ahead and Bhashyakara says, mantra says, not only creates, it is Grinnatecha. That's the next word in the mantra. So that idea is given in the next sentence by Bhashyakara. He says, Punasthaneva Grinnatecha. Grinnati Swatma Bhavam Eva Apadayati. Punaha means once again. When its job is over, suppose no more insects come, then what it will do? It will go to another place. Tan eva. Tan refers to tantun. Those threads themselves, those very threads, eva in the sense of very, those very threads, grinnatecha. Grinnatecha is a Vedic prayoga. It should be grinnati as per Sanskrit grammar. So grinnate should be grinnati. That's why Bhashyakara says grinnatecha means grinnati. So Urnanabihi is a singular. Therefore, verb also should be in singular. But plural is used. Grinnate. So it's a Vedic prayoga. So grinnate or grinnati means upasamharate. It withdraws. And withdrawing these threads is a very unique thing. If you have carefully observed, the spider not only creates, but when it is required, the spider will withdraw the threads also. It will as though swallow it back. Whatever it has created, it will take back unto itself. Withdraws, reconverts the manifest threads into unmanifest form. Unfortunately, no, these days, we don't have time to observe nature intricately. But if you want to see how the spider swallows or withdraws the thread unto itself, we can experience it sometimes while cleaning the house. The spider will be running all over the ceiling or the corners of the ceiling wall, And when you push it, it won't fall down on the ground. It will release the thread and it will be hanging in between. In the middle, it will be hanging on its thread. This is the Spider-Man, that serial. That's exactly what the Spider-Man does, isn't it? When he is hunted, he will use, something from the hand and all. That thread will come and he will hang on the, buildings, tall buildings and all. So when the spider is hanging, if you observe very carefully, the thread will be there. And after some time, suppose you don't disturb the spider, what does it do? It will again go up. It will not climb the thread, mind you. It will actually swallow the thread and go up. So there is no hanging thread. It swallows it. Therefore, it produces the thread and it also swallows. And the thread is supposed to be such a unique creation. I think I mentioned this earlier also. Scientists claim that it's a most unique form of thread. And it seems in spite of all our scientific advancement, we are not able to artificially manufacture that. And now hundreds and thousands of scientists are doing research on that web. Because they say, if we succeed in artificially producing the thread, we will get the lightest bulletproof vest. If we artificially produce that, we can manufacture bulletproof vesture, which will be the lightest version rather. It's such a unique material, nowhere found anywhere else in the world. Such a strong material. And that's what scientists are doing. Anyway, that is not the topic we are discussing. So, grinnate cha, and it withdraws. Withdraws means what? It merges the web back into itself. It brings about the oneness of the web with its own body. In short, it merges, it mixes the web into its own body. And that, in short, is the Laya Karanam also. Therefore, it is both Nimitta Karanam, Upadana Karanam, and also Laya Karanam. And that is what Bhashyakara says, Swatma Bhavam Eva Apadayati. Apadayati means brings about. Swatma Bhavam, oneness with its own body. Really speaking, Swatma Bhavam means Swasharira Bhavam. Your Atma should not be taken as, Sachidananda Atma. Your Atma stands for Sharira. So, Swasharira Bhavam means the status of being the body. So, Swatma Bhavam Eva Apadayati. What is the subject of Apadayati? Tantun, Tan Tantun Eva. So, the Tantun, Swatma Bhavam Eva Apadayati. So, the spider brings about oneness of the web with its own body. Like what was there as pots is now a lump of clay. What was there as ornaments is now only a lump of gold. What was there as tantu, thread, now swatma bhavam. So this is the first example where it is shown that how the spider is both the nimitta karanam and upadana karanam and also laya karanam. That is suggested. Bhashyakara doesn't say it is laya karanam, but that is what he suggests. So similarly, Brahman is abhinna nimitta upadana karanam and laya karanam also. So this is the first example. Now the second example is discussed. In the Moolam, it is said, Prithvivyam Oshadaya Sambhavanti. That is there. And Bhashyakara explains, Yatacha Prithvivyam Oshadayaha Vrihyadi Stavaranta Ityartaha. Yatacha, and just as Prithvivyam, on the earth. Here, when we say the earth, we should not think of the globe earth. We should not think only of earth as a planet. On the Mars also there is earth. On the moon also there is earth. What we call matter, the solid material, that is called Prithvi here. So everywhere there is earth, in wherever we have gone. At least human being, wherever we have actually explored, we have found that earth is there everywhere. So here, Prithvivyam, on the earth, Oshadayaha. Oshadayaha means plants. But here Bhashyakara says we should not restrict only to small plants. We should take starting from small plants up to big trees. So he says Vrihyadi Stavaranta. Vrihi means paddy, rice plant, which is the representation of all small plants. So Vrihi Adi means starting from paddy, rice plant, up to Stavara, up to a big tree. Stavara here means a big tree. So starting from a small plant like a paddy plant up to the big tree like a banyan tree, the Ashwatha tree, etc. All that is referred by the word Oshadayaha. So just as various small and big plants are born on the earth, so Prithvi also gives rise or gives birth to plants. At the same time, these plants are non-separate from the Prithvi. It gives rise to plants which are non-separate from the cause. So here Prithvyam has got the sense of Upadana Karanam. So just as plants are born of the earth, similarly from Brahman all objects are born. And the next sentence, Bhashyakara is explaining the significance of this example. Swatma avyatirikta eva prabhavanti. Prabhavanti means again born. Utpadyate jayante. You can supply. Eva alone. Swatma avyatirikta, without being totally different from the earth. That means what? Superficially, the earth and tree are different. But if you do a chemical analysis, the plant is also modified form of earth only. In the earth, various nutrients are there. Various minerals are there. That alone is there in the plants also. So the earth is the essence of all flora. So remaining non-separate from their essence, namely the earth, they are born. So the idea is that the product, even though superficially looks different from the cause, but essentially it is always the same. So all plants are born of Prithivya Tattva alone, Prithvi Tattva alone, and that is why they merge back into the earth only. And therefore, Swatma Avyatirikta eva prabhavanti. Even our body, that's why we say our body, it's a very refined form of vegetables. One part of the body, the Tula Sharira, is only earth only. So, if you take the vegetables form are the form of earth, right? Sorry, vegetables are formed from earth. And our body is also a form of vegetable only because it is the vegetables go in and may build this body. Therefore, earth alone is our body. And the same thing you have to apply to Brahman alone. The world is not totally different from Brahman. It is non-different from God. And that is why in the 11th chapter of the Gita, we have Vishwarupa Darshanam. Because invariably, the attitude of Bhakta is what? Whenever you talk of Ishvara Darshanam, what does a Bhakta think in his mind? That Bhagavan is God sitting somewhere, Vaikuntha, Kailasam, somewhere in the higher world. He looks upon Bhagavan as a separate person which is located in some higher world. That's the first misconception. And he thinks Bhagavan's darshanam means like in the story of Dhruva, Prahlada, etc. We have to do tapas for years and years and years, eating only leaves and dry leaves and some roots, etc. And if you do tapas, they say Bhagavan will come down from there and say, "Oh Bhakta, I am impressed by your tapas. What boon do you want?" This is what we are used to thinking in terms of Bhagavan based upon our Ishvara Darshanam, based upon all the Pauranic stories. Okay, it's time. We will see more in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Dhanyawad, Guruji.
Everyone. Thank you very much.
Hari Om
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
Guruji.
ಗುರುಜಿ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskaram.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು
Hari Om Guruji. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ
Namaskaram. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Guruji, at some point you were saying
also explains this.
Yeah. Purusha Suktam. If you actually read the Lagunyasa of Rudram, there also all this, which part of the body is from which element, it says. So many places are there. Panchabhuta is what our body is. So that is why after death also, we send it back through Agni to the respective elements rather. So thank you very much. You all came together, gave me this body. Now this finished. Now I return it to you. So we are only borrowing this body. We think it is my body, my body, nothing, nothing is ours. Everything is borrowed only in our life. That is it. Okay.
My internet is bad.
Sorry? Voice is breaking.
I think
No, can't hear.
internet is bad.
Oh, internet is back.
It's bad. I'm not able to. I was,
Oh,
speaking
okay. But
to-
even now, I think it is not very
Why-
stable. Even now, it is not stable because your voice is breaking. Anyhow, you listen to the, the recording, then you can catch up. Okay, I think no questions are there, no hands have gone up. So we'll close the session. Thank you very much. See you next week.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಗುರುಜಿ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು
Thank you. Thank you. Hari Om.